So hey you all, what's up? And this is going to be another eyeshadow tutorial using the Ucanbe Aromas palette. So this is look number 2. So make sure you watch look number 1 before you jump right into this video. So we're going to start off by using the P. Lewis eyeshadow base, and I'm just going to take like the most tiniest amount of it and dab it all over my lid. So before I do that, I just press on my lid just to make sure there's no creases from any other product before. So we're just going to use the most tiniest amount and then press it all over our lid and blend it out. So once that is completed, which is not yet. So okay, fine. Now that's done. And we're going to move on to our Vega eyelash curler, and I'm going to give it about 7 to 8 pumps of fade, which you guys know I always do. So after that, we're gonna jump right into the tutorial. So I'm gonna be using the Aromas Ucanbe eyeshadow palette. This is like beautiful, and this is a dupe for the Huda Nude eyeshadow palette, which is beautiful too. So I mean, this looks really good. So wait for my review to know my feedback about it. So we're gonna use the Innisfree eyeshadow styling brush, which is like a really small blender plus a very shade of brush. So we're going to use this very brown toned shade in the outer corner of my eye. So imagine your eye to be like a diamond. So this is one triangle in the outer side of it. So just add a little bit of it and pack the colors close. Don't take it towards the center part of your lid, and then start to buff it out. Just buff out the edges, don't buff out the color. So use the tip of the brush to do this. And just maintain the intensity of the color just by patting on the color. So we're going to do the same thing on the inner side of it, but just avoid the inner corner because we're going to be adding an inner corner highlight. Just make sure that you work on the angles and the shape of your eyeshadow as you do this. So just pat the color over there, just the mirror image of whatever you did in the outer corner. So once that's done, I'm just going to start to buff out the edges a little more, and I'm also buffing out the inner edge of it and also the outer edge. So when you buff the outer edge, make sure that it does not go low. So next up, we're going to use a little bit of that shade Terry, which is kind of a very beigey, very like pinky beige tone. So we're going to start to buff out the edges. I don't see whether the color is any different from the previous shade, but we're just going to roll with it. Maybe we'll go for a second coat of the first shade later. So I'm just going to like buff it out in the edges, and rather like pat the color and then buff out the edges. So, just looks more intense. So I'm just going to like slightly take it towards the inner side because it looks much more cohesive after you add the shimmer. Okay, so we're going to use the same brush with a little bit of that shade Nude, and we're going to go above the beige tone. So this one kind of matches to my skin, and it just helps to keep the blending a lot more easier and more cohesive. So the previous brush did not work for this step, so we're going to use a Krylon crease brush. So although it says crease, this works much better, just to buff colors out more precisely. I love small brushes, right? So we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to start to buff out all the edges, just to keep things a lot more cohesive and avoid any harsh lines in the process. So you can do the same thing even on the lower, the curved side of the eyeshadow. So we're going to go back and we're going to add another coat of the same eyeshadows just to make it more intense because we lost a lot of color during the blending. So then we're going to take this shade called Eager, which is kind of a golden-y eyeshadow with a very pearlescent finish in it on a Bougie Beauty brush. So we're not going to repeat the same mistake that we did for look number 1, which is to use a finger. So I'm just going to use the brush and I'm just going to pat the colors on. I think this took a little, like a little extra time and effort because this formulation, it just does not stick onto my lid. And if you checked out my review with the Exotic Flavors palette, I did not have any problem working with those shimmers. But the shimmers in this palette, especially these pearlized ones, were a little difficult to handle. So wait for my review to know more about this palette. And then I'm just going to go back to our Innisfree brush and kind of like just slightly buff out the edges. So as you can see, none of my motions are very harsh, so I don't move my brush a lot. So once that's done, we're going to use that same brown tone and we're going to go even like in the lower lash line in the same pattern. So a little on the inner corner and a little on the outer corner. So just to make the look more halo, we're just going to throw on a little bit of the same golden eyeshadow in our lower eyeshadow area too, and we're going to throw a little bit of it even in the inner corner. And then I'm going to use a little bit of the Maybelline Colossal Kajal and just the most tiniest amount in the outer corner because you know me, I love a little bit of black eyeshadow and a little bit of smoke. So I'm just going to do the same thing using a kajal, and we're going to take the Vichy smudger brush. So we're going to smudge that out like very little, like not too much, but just a little bit in the outer corner, and make sure that it does not look like a very harsh line and rather it looks more blended. And yeah, just take it a little into your lash line, which makes it look all the more better. So once that's done, I'm going to use the K Beauty liquid liner. Any liquid liner will do. So we're just going to go very close to our lashes. No wing liner, nothing too fancy. Just make it a very thin liner just to conceal your lashes once you throw it on. So Kiko Milano mascara, and we're going to go for about 3 to 4 coats of mascara on your upper and your lower lash line. I also tend to coat my lashes from the upper side of the upper lashes. I think this kind of just helps with any fallout on your lashes, which changes the lashes color. So we're going to throw on a little bit of false lashes from Colourpop, and this completes the look, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So this is like a very simple halo eye look, and this looks gorgeous. Like, I totally love this look. So make sure you stay tuned for look number 1 using the same palette, and look number 3, which is going to be put soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and until next time, bye.